So you are about to start selling Medicare and you want to make a big splash in the business. And your goal is to make a $20,000 residual monthly income for life after your first year in the business. This is a huge goal. And I'm going to specifically tell you bi-weekly what you need to do to accomplish it and give you a plan of action, as well as what pitfalls and landmines to avoid to give yourself the best chances of success hitting this goal. Greetings and salutations. I'm David Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group. We train and recruit agents nationally to sell Medicare face-to-face and over the phone, as well as final expense face-to-face and over the phone, in addition to annuities and ACA health insurance. If you'd like to learn more about how our agency works, it's easy. Just head on over to davidduford.com/FAQ to learn more. So let's jump right in to describe what is necessary to create a $20,000 income per month for life selling Medicare after your first year of selling business. So first of all, what we do or teach our agents to do at Duford Insurance Group is to almost strictly sell Medicare Advantage. Now there's a couple of different types of Medicare products. You have Medicare Advantage plans, which you can think of as privatized versions of Medicare that have co-pays, deductibles, extra benefits, etc. And there's also what's called Medicare supplements, which are great plans, but we at Duford Insurance Group don't sell a lot of those. Maybe they represent 10% or less of our total production, so we won't really use those for the sake of running the numbers. Right now, a Medicare Advantage plan starting in 2023 is going to pay approximately $25 a month in residual income after the first year. So deriving what your actual production totals need to be is pretty simple. You simply take the monthly income you want divided by 25 to arrive at what you want as far as production goes in order to hit that goal of residual income. So if we want $20,000 in monthly income, we just divide that by 25, and what we get is 800 Medicare Advantage plans written in your first 12 months of the business. Now, before everybody freaks out and thinks, Dave, that's a lot of production. Nobody's doing that. How can anybody write somewhere around 60, 70, 80 Medicare Advantage plans monthly? Well, the good news is we have several agents who are either on track or who have already accomplished writing the volume necessarily annually, quarterly, weekly, and monthly to hit these goals, assuming their production stays on course. For example, we have Chad, who's out of Dallas. He's on track right now as of 2022 to hit 800 in Medicare Advantage plans. There's also John, who's out of Oklahoma. He consistently writes 15 to 20 Medicare Advantage plans every single week and is right on course to that 800 Medicare Advantage plan goal himself. Adam Howard, back in 2020, even during coronavirus, where lots of lockdowns are going on, fell just short of 1,000 Medicare Advantage plans. I think he hit somewhere like 970. Again, another agent in our agency selling Medicare successfully and hit those numbers. And then there's Evan out of Nashville, Tennessee. He regularly writes 15 to 20 Medicare Advantage plans using direct mail leads like what we teach our agents to do, and is on course to hit the same kind of high level of production in the Medicare Advantage space. So I wanted to reference that because 800 is a lot of Medicare Advantage plans. That's a good number for agents who devote 5 years to it. But like the 4-minute mile was crushed and how that brought a whole bunch of people in to run the 4-minute mile, I kind of think the same way with production goals. We want to show you big numbers and show you how it's achievable. And once you see people doing it and you really get the rundown in the numbers like we will in a minute, you'll see what steps are necessary in order to hit those goals and make it more achievable for you. So bottom line, how many applications do you need to write a week in order to hit this goal of 800 Medicare Advantage plans to then hit a residual income of $20,000 a month for life? You need to approximately write 16 new Medicare Advantage plans weekly. And if you hold true a good closing ratio, not the best, not the worst, of 50% of your presentations, you need to have approximately 32 appointments booked weekly. And then if you hold true, again, a good but not great booking percentage of the leads, you need to book half of those as being the goal. So you need to have approximately 65 fresh and exclusive direct mail leads a week. And this breaks down to approximately 5 to 6 appointments a day for approximately 5 to 6 days in the field each and every work week. So that's it. I mean, all you really have to do is run around 6 appointments a day for 5 to 6 days a week in the field that you could schedule basically an hour, hour and a half apart run a normal type of schedule with some free time in the evening several times a week, and just keep that consistently going, and just apply yourself, learn, execute, making sure you, of course, have good training and following scripts. And over time, if you just stay consistent to that strategy, the likelihood is going to be very high that you're going to achieve the numbers of exactly what we're talking about. But here's the truth. The vast majority of agents listening to this, and the vast majority of agents nationally, just will not come even close to this kind of production. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, Dave, you broke it down for us, so we know what we need to do. Well, why don't people actually follow through? Because it's harder to stay consistent to a strategy like this, because truly the reality is there's always difficulties that arise out of running a business, like servicing the people you're selling, issues with leads, hot runs, cold runs, and everything between personal life issues, right? So there's always going to be this kind of impending force that's going to be causing friction. But it really isn't any more complicated than this. But what are some of those big issues that cause agents not to accomplish this? I wanted to spend some time talking about this because I think if you really feel strongly about making this kind of income, it's definitely achievable in this business. But you need to know what steps to take to avoid the pitfalls. That's the biggest thing, because truly the magic in this business isn't in the script. It isn't in necessarily the leads, although the leads do matter for sure. The magic is consistently, and the key word is consistently executing the strategy that you're given. Most people don't have the wherewithal to do it, and these pitfalls start to accumulate and diverge from the pathway you've been given to achieve those goals, and you fall way short of it. So number one is proper leads. Again, this is a big issue with Medicare agents. We see this a lot on the life side, especially in final expense. A lot of agents are, they're thinking, well, maybe I'll buy some digital leads, or maybe I should just go sit in a Walmart somewhere, or maybe I should do seminars instead. And yeah, that stuff will produce business, but a lot of the problem with those particular types of model is they're unproven, their quality is suspect, there's ups and downs, or they're just not scalable to achieve a kind of goal like this. Again, the kind of agent that we mentioned earlier, every single one of them is doing the exact same thing. There's nobody that's doing anything inherently unique or different. They're buying direct mail leads at scale and running appointments either face-to-face or over the phone, consistently executing each and every week. So you got to make sure you're working the right kind of leads that allow for that scale to happen, because that scale has to happen to then have the outcome of having actual leads and actual presentations that result in the kind of production that gets you your ultimate annual goal. Another problem with agents is the fear of losing. Again, this is an issue true of all insurance lines, but in the Medicare space, what I've seen in the several years we've been recruiting and training agents to achieve these kind of goals and run these kind of appointments is that they get scared with the kind of cash flow issues that come with Medicare. Perhaps they're in a situation where, cash is really important. They've got to maintain and support their family, but Medicare just simply doesn't provide the same kind of cash flow like a final expense or life insurance product would. So it makes it very difficult to scale as you wait for that income to come in and start to grow, especially in that second year and beyond. So what are some things you can do about it? A couple of ideas here. Number one, you can scale into Medicare slowly. Instead of letting it consume all of your time in the field, maybe you start with a day, 2 or 3 days in the field, build up a residual income, and then slowly diverge your efforts from final expense on the other days, let's say, to more and more Medicare as you build up that passive monthly income from your production. You can also consider cross-selling different products as well, like final expense and hospital indemnity plans to your Medicare leads to bump up your cash flow to help you manage some of the issues again, with cash flow, with just a strict Medicare-only type of sales strategy. Either way, you might have to take more of a divergent approach to this business than going all in, depending on what your cash flow needs are. So make sure you take some time and consideration as to how to set this up, because you don't want to jump in too quickly, be very successful, but run out of money for leads, because that's going to gum up the system and cause an untimely failure that you just otherwise wouldn't want. Another thing is proper training. Of course, you've got to learn Medicare and how to sell Medicare, but you've got to learn all the different special election strategies. You've got to know how to do your detective work and comparing plans and showing your clients why your plan's better than others. You certainly have to have the training to set appointments properly, to run presentations properly, and to scale that process up to the moon. So understand, long story short, You got to go into this business well trained. And unfortunately, with most organizations, training is terrible. It's watch this video or it's go to the carriers, but there's not a lot of sales and marketing training that's really necessary to make a scaled system like this work. That's why we do what we do at the Ford Insurance Group, where we spend a lot of time on teaching you how to sell this stuff and how to run a proper system to maximize your results. Number 4, you got to have proper work ethic, guys. Again, I am not going to sit here and say that you can run and have this kind of income goal of 800 Medicare plans plus, 20,000 in passive income and renewals every single month for life by working 3 days a week. Now, the nice thing about Medicare is you can build up to that point. There's a lot of agents that hit their number, they're happy with their income, and they certainly dial their new business production back. That's 100% fine. But in the beginning, it's a grind. It takes time, it takes effort. It takes focus, and it takes consistency. So please don't get into this business thinking you can just be lazy and not work and sacrifice your time you would spend in other ways in order to achieve this goal. Anybody who suggests that to you is a liar. You need to be ready to work, and you need to put your head down and be consistent maybe for a couple of years in order to make this thing work to the extent that you want it to. Number 5 here is proper funding. Again, with the cash flow concerns that come with running a Medicare sales business, it's just tough to come by money and kind of support your business. So an idea like this in the Medicare space where we scale to this extent usually isn't achieved until proper cash flow is established. That may take a year or two, but there are some things that we do at the Ford Insurance Group that helps offset this proper funding issue. Number 1, we have a lead subsidy program that reduces your lead cost by $75 for each Medicare Advantage sale that you make. It's an optional program. It requires you to be completely committed to us on the Medicare Advantage side of the business, but it is a great way to reduce your lead costs by tens of thousands of dollars if you're running the kind of production that we're talking about now, and it frees up so much money for cash flow reasons, makes a business a lot more attainable from a financial standpoint. And then the other thing I'll tell you, just whether you do the subsidy with us or not, is the good news is a lot of Medicare Advantage carriers are starting to reposition their marketing support dollars back to us. Agents are the best at finding prospects and also keeping them, and that's how carriers make their most money. And the call center business model has really been upended. It's not as effective as it was believed to be. So a lot of these carriers are repositioning money towards agents to support them because they see them as obvious sources of new business and retention of that business. So that means that you're going to have more marketing dollars in play to help you offset your cost and cash flow better selling Medicare Advantage at a scaled up level. I hope this video kind of gives you some perspective of how to hit a residual income of $20,000 a month after your first year selling Medicare Advantage and what steps you've got to take in order to make this thing a conceivable goal. Again, I wanted to also provide you with some real talk about how this business is, what causes agents to fail, and how to avoid some of those shortcomings. So again, you can maximize your chances of success. If you're looking for an agency to join and you want to sell Medicare, you really like the idea of passive income, you love the idea of selling Medicare, we help agents sell Medicare successfully. You can be a part of another organization with life insurance and do your Medicare with us. You can move your Medicare Advantage carriers over to us. There's all sorts of ways to work with us. And the best way to learn more about how that's done is simply to go to davidduford.com/FAQ, click the Medicare link, and there you'll learn more about how our system works to see if you're a good fit. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.